things. Okay, so we could start this from scratch. Deal. All right, so there's 3 principles to scalping that we want to make sure that we have an understanding of, and we don't want to, because we're either thinking like biased, right? I wish, please go this way, da 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 da, or we're just letting the chart tell us what the hell is happening and taking that the market's word for it. And so the 3 principles we're going to go over are price action, volume, and retracement. Okay, no matter what, these 3 principles right here are pretty much the only rules of scalping. Because scalping is such a, I guess you could say it's just kind of like a fluid and like free-flowing thing. You have to be able to find some grounding, right? Because otherwise, how many times have you done it where you think something's going to keep going up and then it starts going down? Or you think something's going to go down or keep going down and then all of a sudden it starts going up, right? And most people just think like, oh, the market's out to get me, or, God hates me, or I have bad karma. I must have done something bad in a past life that makes it every time I go into a play, it goes against me. But it's just that most people aren't paying attention to these 3 things: price action, volume, and retracement. So if you were going to give me the definition, if I asked you like, what is price action, what would you tell me?
How the stock moves.
Yep, how stock moves, straight up. And so it's important to understand just that, how the stock moves. And I need to understand that before going into a scalping play. Well, why, you may say? Well, because during scalping, I'm either doing one of 2 things. I'm going with the trend, right? Or I see a reversal of the trend, right? Because scalping is all about momentum. So let's look at SPX. So as we see, bear or bullish trend, right? Since the fall, right? Since we went down in March.
Yep.
What happened around September? Bearish trend started, right? We topped out, right? And then we got to the end of September, bullish trend ensued, right? And then what happened recently? Are we in a bullish or a bearish trend?
We're back on a downtrend.
All right, we're back on the, right? Bears are alive. All right, and so understanding this concept is important because the trend is your friend when you're scalping. It can help give you clues of what the price action is doing. Because once again, if we're in a bearish trend and things are going up, well, chances are if we're in a bearish trend, what's going to happen eventually?
It's going to break that trend eventually.
All right? Yeah. Same as vice versa, right? We're in a bullish trend, things are going down, what's going to happen eventually? Going to go back up, right? So understanding what trend we're in is super important. As of right now, we are in a bearish trend. But understanding price action is also going to be really important. You see all these white lines I have?
Yeah, I see them.
Those are all levels. Well, why? Because price action is number 1 when it comes to scalping. So I need to know where price has been to know, where it possibly could go. So usually what I do is I get my price level tool. That's this $sign with the level. You also find it down here at the bottom right if you click. Usually it's like your cursor, but you can make it that price level. All right, and I want to keep this to the far left as I can. And all I'm doing is just trying to find levels that the stock touches at least twice. All right, I want to do this on a bigger time frame first, and then move it to a smaller, and move in the smaller time frame. What this is going to do, once again, is just allow me to have levels set so that when I am scalping, I know potential levels of support and resistance. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right, so then you just move in. So if you're on your 1 day, right, next I moved it to like the 180-day 4 hour, right? And once again, the whole goal is just to try and keep it on as far left as you can, right? And try and find levels where the market touched at least twice. Got a new level there. Right, and like I said, most of really good, like being a good trader, lies in your preparation. Right, if you have levels drawn, understanding where support and resistance is, right, and then as you're zooming in, you just get more of a feel for the stock itself and where its levels are. Right, you're like, okay, like I'm really getting a feel for this. Like, okay, we had our high of 35, and then boom, 1H consolidated, right, fall into another H, right, tried to bring it back up, fell again, and now we're in Chop City right here. Right, and once again, this is just kind of stuff that you want to be telling yourself as you're kind of doing your homework on any given stock, and then just slowly moving in, right? Eventually you'll end up on about a 5-day or so, right? And that will give you the most recent price action, where once again, you'll see where you're it's cool when you do this, like, because you'll see where your levels that you made on the bigger time frames and how they become relevant on the smaller time frame.
Yeah.
I mean, mine has like 1,000 levels on it, so don't mind me. But you know, for somebody like you probably don't have all these levels, so it might be nice to right, like look at that right there, how the top of the H a couple days later ended up being right where it closed. You see it?
They definitely come in. That's something I've spent more time doing, putting the levels like just the same way you did, from starting from the daily to the 184 hour to the
Boom, perfect. Oh, you should just cut me off. Be like, bro, I do that already.
No, but I mean it's
I'm just talking. All right, cool. So now once we've done that, then you know we got to get into our intraday, right? Next day comes, and sometimes what you'll do is like maybe you'll try and plot the possibilities. Like, okay, well if it breaks up here, right, it could easily. I don't have a lot of levels right here. Places where there's not a lot of levels is kind of, it's pretty fluid to be able to go through. Right, places where there's a lot of levels, harder to get through. Right, you see why we've been so choppy here. Look how many levels we have here.
Yep.
Right, versus we clear this space, look how open it is. Right, even to the downside right here. Right, and then of course we get underneath here. Right, nothing but air. So once again, these are things you kind of want to look at, just to be able to make determinations, right? Like, okay, so I guess if it breaks over 33.17, right, could possibly get to like 33.40, right? Because there's like nothing much there, right? And then it allows you to see the possibilities, and that's really what the best scalpers do. Is they just see the possibilities. They're not biased. They're not bulls. They're not bears. They're just playing what the market's giving them. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
All right, so that's all we're here to do. We don't want to create moves. We don't want to be smarter than nobody. None of that. All right. So do you play? You said you do play SPY, right?
Yeah.
Okay, not SPX though.
I haven't played SPX yet.
Got you. Good thing is they're one and the same, and I use both of them. So that first principle of price action. The next principle is volume. So what I'm going to do here, get another screen going real quick. So because SPX doesn't have volume, I use SPY for that. So whether you're playing SPX or SPY, what I recommend is have them both up. You see how they're both almost similar? Like look at the beginning move right there, right? Like, oh, never mind. That's because they're both SPY. Like, see how they're both similar? It's like the same chart. Gotta love it. All right, so let's try that again though. All right, so on 1 minute with both. Make sure. All right. Right, but they'll move for the most part pretty similar. See, now we're SPX and SPY. Right. So this is really awesome because you can play either one, but I recommend watch both. Um, the one thing that I like to play on SPX or SPY is the 50-day moving average, because it tends to like be in a buy cycle or a sell cycle depending on if it's above the 50 moving average or below it. You notice it?
Yep. Yeah, I've been noticing that the last couple of days too. You guys.
Sideways, right? Below, right? Choppiness, sideways, above. Okay. So in price action, there's going to be 3 cycles always: a buying cycle, a selling cycle, and a consolidation cycle. Okay. They don't always happen in the same order. Like, okay, buyers in, now sellers in, now consolidation in, right? Your consolidation happens wherever the hell it wants to, right? It could go from sellers to buyers to consolidation. Could go from buyers to sellers to consolidation. Could go from buyers to consolidation to sellers to consolidation. Like, we don't know. But our job is to try and figure out what cycle any given stock is in. That way we can play on that cycle, right? So you'll see at the beginning of the day, well, what cycle would you say this is right here? This area right here. What cycle would you say that is? Can you see my screen?
Bailey,
Okay, I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
my mic keeps going out, but yeah, that looks like it's consolidating there.
Okay. Hold on, let me make sure we have the right one. All right, yeah, and you can see we're on SPY chart, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Right, so price action, volume, and then the last principle is going to be retracement. So we're going to be talking through these things. So your price action is like the overlying trend, your levels, and then of course the interaction, the cycles. Right, price action comes in cycles. Volume wise, let's see it. Right, so at the beginning of the day, we had the highest volume pretty much of a good part of the session. Right, but were buyers in control or sellers? On this candlestick right here, this first one. You see that first candlestick?
First one looks like it was more sellers than buyers.
Yeah, by a little margin, right? Almost 50-50. Okay.
How do you get so I have the volume, but how do you get it to show the buyers
Oh,
and
you gotta get you got volume, but you ain't got ultimate volume?
No, I don't.
Yeah, you gotta have ultimate volume on there.
Is that one of the studies that you guys are
Yeah. Yep, that's exactly what it is. I'm trying to figure out where it is. I think it's
somewhere I think I have it, like I sent it to myself. I just haven't.
It's in the Thinkorswim channel on Discord.
Okay, cool. So I'll just make sure I add that in there.
Yep. Okay, so we'll see, right? We had a consolidation cycle right here. And during the consolidation cycle, it does look like buyers tried to come in, but sellers were in force too, right? That's why you saw this like 50-50, right? If you really want to think of it, look at it as you follow any sports?
Basketball.
Okay, cool. Perfect. So in basketball, there's 2 teams, right? Well, in the markets, there's 2 teams as well, buyers and sellers, right? So what are buyers trying to do? What's their goal? Or what's their their definition of making a basket? Is when the price goes where?
Up.
Okay. Seller's goal.
Down.
Right? So in the cycle where buyers are in possession, they're looking to make the price go higher. When sellers have the ball, right, they're looking to make the price go lower. Now, when sellers have the ball, who's on defense?
Buyers.
Buyers have the ball. Who's on defense? Right? So it becomes the other team's job, whoever's playing defense, to stop the price from going in the direction that it's going. Meanwhile, it's the team that has possession. It's their job to run it up as much as they can while they have possession. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So we'll see here. So we finally started to get a break under the 50. right? And a sell cycle tried to start, right? This is similar to like when you're inbounding a pass and then it gets stolen by the other team. How do we know that? Well, to start a sell cycle, like when I want you to start looking at the SPY and look at these cycles, 3 candlesticks above the 50, buy or sell cycle. 3 of the same color candlesticks, red, below the 50, selling cycle. Okay?
Okay.
All right, so we just got under the 50. All right, we got 2 candlesticks under, and then look what the buyers did. Now look at the volume they did it in, though. Did they do a lot? Was there a lot of volume on this move right here?
Nope.
Look at this move and look at the volume. Nope, not at all, right? Especially compared to like the beginning of the day, these peaks right here, compared to that, right? So that should tell you something. Even though the buyers did, right, take over, right, and do a buy, right? Because right when it got to here, 1, 2, 3 candlesticks above, we entered a buying cycle, right? And that buying cycle got to 3102, right? And then, because nothing's going to go up forever, right? The other team's going to try and defend the basket. Like they're going to try and, you know what I mean? To take you out of your game, whatever that might, however they can, right? So this is what we call retracement. Means that one team has momentum and the other team's trying to push back and gain back some of that momentum. That's what your retracement is. Now, it's really important to pay attention to the levels of retracement, though, because not every retracement is the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
This first retracement right here, when buyers came back in, sellers. So first of all, we had, after this doji, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 green candles, right, in a row. So anytime you see that many green candles in a row, what are you thinking?
It's gonna exhaust at one point and breathe.
It has to, right? Now, the amount of retracement is what matters, right? Let's say you got into this right here, okay? What happens when you see this red candlestick come next? Let's say you got into a call, right?
Yeah, if you got in there, you're automatically going to be negative.
What's the emotion that you feel?
Oh, crap.
Right? You better than me, I cuss, right? And then you got the second one, right? How do you feel when you see the price action start to do this? And get to this.
Should I sell? Should I hold? Like, that was a bad entry. You feel crappy.
Right? Now,
instant clap.
This red candlestick, right? You see these 8 candlesticks that made this. What happens if this red candlestick goes to 50% of this move to right here? Then how do you feel?
Clapped.
Okay. What if it goes to 80% of this move right here?
You're done. You're clapped.
Okay. What if it's all the way back down here?
You're at 0.
You just want to close your account and maybe trade tomorrow, right? So the level of retracement matters, right? Once again, buying cycle came in, right? And the sellers tried to come in and create their cycle, like tried to get a turnover and take that ball, right? But buyers, what did they do? They defended this move. But why? Because the level of retracement. It barely retraced on this move. What is that? Maybe 10%, or probably 15, 20% maybe? Nothing compared to like all this down here that it traveled and then all this that it retook, right? So then, hold on. So then you'll see, well, what happens? Well, sell cycle didn't quite kick in, right? We didn't have 3 red candlesticks. We didn't have retracement, right? And buyers saw that. So what did they do? Oh, they came back in, right? And what did we get? We got a big volume candlestick right here, right? Where they reclaim, right? This was the high at one point. They pushed past the high. Okay, what happened on this second move though, right? So you get one move, then this is our second move. What happened on this move with the retracement? Remember those candlesticks pulling back? Well, how far did it pull back?
Not much. What's that? Maybe, well,
in comparison to what? Remember? Because once we got to this right here, this was our high of day. Right? pulled back a little bit, came back up, but we're talking retracement on the move, right? So another breakout right here, but look how much it retraced.
Yeah, almost the whole move.
Whole thing. That's not a sign of a healthy breakout. That's not healthy retracement where when buyers, right, they saw sellers being weak, we're like, all right, we're going to push this up even more. And then they push it up even more. And the next couple candlesticks take out all of the action that just happened. Make sense?
Yep.
Right? Now, what you'll notice is that, right, so we got the retest of that trying to pull back on this move right here, right? And then eventually, even not, but not with very much volume, right? Look at the volume that these guys are the buyers are bringing in force to try and take this up. Is this a lot of volume?
Nope.
For it to be breaking the high of day? Not at all, right? Also, look at this next move. Look at the retracement. So this was the break. That was the top, right? Right here?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't know what I just did. Right? This was the top right here. Right? So then when it broke out, we hit 333.30. Look what the sellers did.
They whacked it out.
Once again, right? So this is why you didn't hear me talking too much like early in the day, and like I wasn't calling any plays out because I was just waiting for the buying cycle to finish. Right? So this was the first, like, and what you want to try and do on 0 day, especially when you're playing SPX or SPY, wait for the first team's move. Right? It's like chess, your move first, right? See what the teams are doing, right? So you saw the sellers come in, there was actually high selling volume. Oh gosh. Where'd my SPY go? Come back. I want to come up. Okay, there we go. Right? Saw like selling volume on these candles was actually really, really high. Right? Even when buyers came in, wasn't high compared to the selling volume. Right? Wasn't even this move right here compared to the selling volume once again early in the day, even that's still going on in there. It's not high. The selling volume's higher and all this stuff. Right? So let that move happen, right? Let this buying cycle happen, right? So you see the buying cycle was all this, okay? We did get some times where we got 3 red candles, but look where the 50 moving average is, right? In order for it to be a selling cycle, you have to be underneath the 50 moving average with 3 red candles. Deal?
Yep.
The buying cycle, right? We got in the buying cycle here, 3 red, 3 green over the 50. Boom. That's where it took us, right? But so for so then now we're moving back. We're moving into sell cycle now, right? So sell cycle got official when we crossed the 50 right here. Right? Now that you know where buy cycle is, right? And then you were able to see what buy cycle could do, and you saw all that retracement. This is why I was comfortable getting into a put like right around here, because I saw us retracing to the 50. I saw every move that got wiped out that we did. And so I was ready for us to take a couple rallies. So this is another thing that you have to remember with 0 day is that usually your rallies will not go on forever. Like running sprints or anything, right? It takes energy. So every time I have to exert a high amount of energy, and then like the next time I have to do it in succession, and then the next time I have to do it in succession, eventually I'm gonna get a little tired, right? So you'll notice these moves will happen only in about 2s or 3s, right? So it'll be 2 or 3 good pumps, and then we'll need to go into consolidation. And then we'll see where we go from there. In this case, consolidation led to selling cycle right here, right? Now our selling cycle, right? So we pushed 1 push, 2 push, right? And then we kind of got tired, right? So you don't expect these moves when you're doing on 0 day. You're not looking for all day moves. You're not looking for more than about like 30 to 50 ticks, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, right? You want 30 to 50 ticks. That's all your moves are. That's how long your cycles last. Nothing is gonna do it all day, right?
Yeah.
So we got to keep this principle in mind, right? So if you wanted to take buying cycle here, this third candlestick above the 50, right, probably would have been your entry, right? And you would have seen the retracement here from this move and been able to be like, okay, that wasn't too bad on retracement. Boom, see another move, maybe sell at the top of this, right? Or you see that second retracement, right? At least maybe taking profit. Or right, possibly tried to wait knowing that you were still extended on the 50 moving average. So your price action's telling you this, right? Volume's telling you this, and then the levels of retracement. But honestly, this isn't. I usually would say wait for the first move in force, right? Sometimes the first move in force is going to be the sellers, right? Wait for that move to happen, and then see what the buyers do in response. If the first move of force is from the buyers, wait for that to happen, right? Give it some time, 15, 20, 25 minutes or whatever. You see this from 9:30 to what? 10, 20?
Mm-hmm.
50 minutes, right? First 50 minutes of the markets. I'm just waiting, whatever. Right? But once again, what did I say? Well, your cycles usually last about 30 to 50 ticks on a 1 minute chart. Right? This was almost exactly 50 ticks from here. Right? And then whose cycle started? Right? And then you want to see what they do, right? If sellers wouldn't have been able to take out this 50 right here, and buyers would have came back in and been able to hold that line, this would be an entirely different story, right? But once buyers weren't able to hold that line, sellers jumped in on this shit. Boom, and that's what took it, retraced the whole move from the beginning of the day, right? Volume-wise, even when buyers did try to come in, look at their volume. All right, look at those green candlestick volumes. Not even there, right? So this little consolidation period was not a threat. Also, retracement, right? The buyers were able to come in at any point right here, right, in force and take it from consolidation to their control. Did they?
Nope.
Right. Look at this move. How many points is this? This is I mean, even from just right here, 332, and down here is 330. Right, and you're telling me they could only bring it to 330.78. Right? Like you could only move it 75 cents, even though we just dropped it $2 and some change. Like almost $3 drop and 75% is given back, or 75% given back. Right? Once again, if this retracement, these green candles would have come back up here and retraced 50% of this move, would have been a different story, right? Or if we would have done like what these did and just retraced the whole 100% of the move, right? And bring it right back here, different story. So retracement is telling you who's really in control and if the control's changing hands. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so then we'll see, right? Buyers weren't able to step in, right? We got another slap off of the 50, and then we dipped, right? Now, like I said, most of these moves will be 1 or 2 moves, right? This one was 3 moves up. This move down was 1, 2 moves down, right? Buyers tried to come back in, right? Raised it up. But did we get 3 green candlesticks above the 50? Not right there. Right there, nope, that's only 2.
And you're looking for back-to-back candles, right?
Mm-hmm. We didn't get one. This is right? So this, like, honestly, this whole period right here was a bit of consolidation. But buyers or sellers tried to come in and take it. Buyers didn't let it. Buyers tried to come in and take it. Sellers didn't let it, right? You see the tug of war here?
Mm-hmm.
Right? But the retracement level. So it did get to here on retracement. That's about, from this move up here at the top, let's draw our line there to make sure we have it. Come on, what are you doing? Stop that. Oh, well, I think it's already up. Yep, there we go. Right, so from here to here, right, that's compared to this move right here, that's not quite 50%, right? There's still more space up here than down here, even when it did retrace, right? I mean, the volume of buyers did come in pretty well. If you look overall relatively, but look at the retracement, right? Price action, volume, and retracement matter. This retracement on this move that was right here didn't even get 50%, right? We have the high of day here and all of that, right? When they tried to get it back, they could only bring it there. So that told me, all right, like, right, if you were still holding, like, that was okay to do. And then look, it never got close to retesting that again. Created lower low, right? And then right, found somewhere in the middle. And then what happened? Two cycles started right here. 1, 2, 3 candles under the 50. All right, even here, you could have gotten it. Or no, nope, because this was above the 50. 1, 2, right? We didn't get 3 candles under the 50 though, right here. And that was right at the 50. 1, 2, 3. But that started what cycle? Talk to me. Okay, so you still with
yeah, downtrend.
sell cycle, right? And then look. Dumpy. When's the next time we got 3 candles over the 50? Right here.
Right there.
Okay? Buy cycle, sell cycle, consolidation. In time of consolidation, what I'm looking for is the volume and the retracement, right? If big volume comes in, and if this would have started retracing past this, you know, right, up into these parts right here, where it's really close to this top where it was, yeah, there would be no reason to be holding a put, right? Honestly, there's no reason to hold after taking this, right, after taking this dump. But once again, I didn't see 3 candlesticks in a row that were green above the 50, right? That's why I was like, all right, like, it's tough, but I still got to hold. And then I saw the level of retracement, and I'm like, okay, we still got space, right? But on my the way I played is I played this, took profit on most of my position. I want to say when we were here, once we started to get another downturn, I think I took profit a little here, and then took profit a little here, and then I had a runner that I took profit like here on. But look at this again. So once we got in that sell cycle, 1 big move, 2 big move, right? Retrace, 3 big move, right? You're not going to get more than 2 to 3 of these moves, and they're going to happen with retracement, right? So you'll see this was the first move before the retracement, second move before the retracement. But look, when we got to here, under the 50, 3 candlesticks, right? We've still got more selling to do.
Is that is the little hack with the 50? Is that like, would you say like specific to SPY or?
Yep, you only do this with SPY and SPX. I mean, okay. You may find it on honestly, like good question. I do see like how can I say it? Different stocks have different relationships with different moving averages.
Mm-hmm.
Mine is the 50 though. That's like I've watched the SPY and SPX a lot. Like honestly, that's like damn near all I trade unless I see really, really good setups. So it's like I've just kind of obsessed over this a lot. And yeah, like I'll be real, it's kind of creepy. But but it works. You know what I mean? So I just try and go with the flow on it and try and back test it, right? Try and see some of these other days, right? Like feel free to go to it, right? Like back test it yourself and see that relationship to the 50. Right, let's try and do the day before.
Would you say the 3 candle rule, so either 3 red or 3 green, apply for any breakout, or is that also something specific like that you've noticed?
Yes, that's. I mean, it's actually a candlestick pattern. Those is called 3 white soldiers or 3 black crows.
Crows.
Yeah. But I've just kind of like taken that and kind of morphed it into I don't know, just the way I play it. I play SPX now. Where it's because it's, you know, there has to be stipulations. Anytime, just because you see 3 candlesticks, you know what I mean, in a row of certain colors, something's happening. Like no. So really, what this is in that 50 moving average for SPY, that's like that's as close as I can get to what the computers are programmed to, if that makes sense. right? Because
Okay.
thinking about like algorithms and these kind of like computer, 80% of all trades are done electronically. Well, they have to set parameters, right? Think about when you're trying to place those orders, you're like, man, it's kind of hard to like, you're gonna have to like, calculate what this and that is and set all these parameters. But that's actually what coding programs have done, right? So it's like that 50 moving average relationship to this, it's just a trigger. It's one of those like buy or sell trigger pieces for these algos. Like I'll just say it straight up. But let's just back test it real quick, right? So beginning of the day on what was this, Friday? Right, so we have beginning of the day on Friday, right? We have the move up, volume wise. I mean, yeah, I guess it wasn't really too much volume. Let me see if I can make that bigger. Oh, it's because at the end of the day, there's crazy volume. All right, and then so we'll see the 50 right here, right? Above the 50, this was buying cycle, obviously, right? We're above the 50, 3 candles. But look at the retracement, right? Retraced just about 50% of the initial move, right? Tried to go up again, did not create a higher high, right? Dump. Our first 3, 1, 2, I mean, almost 3. We got a wick up there, but 1, 2, 3. That started selling cycle, but as you can see, buyers came back in. And like I said, with the wick up there, you want clean under the 50, like these right here, right? But you could call this a rising wedge, right? We're on a bearish trend, rising wedge going up, rising wedge is break to the downside, right? And then we finally get under the 50. 1, 2, 3, red under the 50. When's the next time you get 3 greens? All right, next time you get 3 greens over the 50, still waiting for it, probably about right here. That's your exit.
Okay.
All right, even right here was scary, but look at the retracement. It's had this whole dump and only got back to right here compared to this way up here. All right, 328. What is this? 325, 3-point move, right? I'm sorry, 5-point move. Kind of see what I mean though? 328 to 320.
320. No, yeah.
23. Yeah, that's a 5-point move to the downside, and it was only able to reclaim about $2 of it. That means $3 of it is still up here, and it couldn't get back, right? Retracement, right? And then you finally get into your buying cycle right here with these 3 green candles above the 50. But until then, there was no green candles above the 50, and especially not 3. So just another way to see it, right? I'm trying to see right here. Yeah, this is the beginning of sell cycle right here. 3 green candles under the 50. Boom. Right, all the way to about right here. 3 green candles above the 50. All right, where they tried to retake it, but retracement, couldn't really do it. Right, boom, 3 green candles under the 50, sell cycle. Right, but retracement now on that move right there was pretty gnarly, right? Like that was almost 50%. So you want to stay out of these chop zones, get out of the retracement. So when you start to see retracement, right, that's your move. That's your move to exit. Because once again, these cycles will only last for about 2 to 3 pumps, right? 1 big dip, 2 big dip, 3 big dip. Right, once where you start sell cycle again. I mean, that was technically 1 right there. Tried to go down right there. Tried to go down again. Just not very, that wasn't a very hard one, right? Where'd sell cycle start right here? We said it was these 3 candles right here, right? Okay, so 1 dump, 2 dump, 3 dump. 1 dump, 2 dump, 3 dump. Okay, you're only going to get 2 to 3 moves in any cycle, buy or sell. The intensity of those moves on the buy side or the sell side matter. The retracement of those moves on the buy side or sell side matter. And then once again, you want to stay out of the choppiness, right? You want to You're going to take the moves 2 to 3 and then sell your position. Just get the hell out. Get back in on another play, you know, even if you want to, right? Because when the next sell cycle comes, if sellers are enforced, or if, you know, you can start to have like support and resistance drawn, and then eventually you can just play the dumps, right? Like, because you have your levels drawn, you know, you understand these cycles and you're paying attention to them. Does all this make sense?
Yeah. And I like the little hack on, well, obviously we've been playing SPX a lot. So I caught on to the, so I've been watching when it crosses the 50, when it can't cross. But I like the little hack too of the 3 candles.
This is the next layer. Yes, you guys are evolving with me on this. I hope you know that, because I'm still right, back testing and just learning as well. That's why I try and spend every day doing. Like, plus it keeps me out of the pressure of like feeling like I have to execute. You know what I mean? If I just take every day like I'm learning, like in the markets, just learning, it's fun. You know what I mean? And yeah, there's a risk involved to it, but that makes it fun too. You know. And if we play responsibly with it and do it right, and look for these kinds of trends and how we can use them to our advantage, like that's how we capitalize on this thing. So I appreciate you taking the time with me. I know I went over a little bit, but I think I started like 8 to 10 minutes late anyway, so I gave you back more than I took.
No, I appreciate you taking the time. It's late. It's late out here. Well, you're right.
What'd you say?
That you're always right. You're always up late.
Yeah, I'm always up pretty damn late. I do have, yeah. Speaking of that, I'm like, I also have one more session to get into, so I'm gonna do that so I can finally get some rest. Cause Super Tuesday tomorrow, so we're gonna have to be on our toes in the markets.
Let's see how this goes.
Oh yeah, but go ahead and shoot me like a question or anything you need in the DM. Anything maybe you want to follow up from on this specifically too, like, because as we put this together, you know what I mean. I want to make sure it sinks in.
For sure. I'm going to. All right. So I ended my recording. How do I? Where will my recording go?
It should, once we close, it goes to documents. Did you go do record to cloud or record to this computer?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't even ask.
Oh, well, it'll either be in your My Documents, and then Zoom has its own folder in there, or it'll be in on the cloud. So like it'll be on Zoom, My Recordings.
Awesome. I will. Yeah, but no, thank you so much. It's super helpful. I'm probably gonna paper trade. I haven't paper traded yet. I feel like
right. Hey, yeah, I won't talk about it. I paper trade in my mind all the time. I'm like, all right, I would buy that right there. All right, I would sell that right there. And then I'll like look at the right, the profit or whatever it gained, and I'm like, oh, all right. Knew I should have taken it.
yeah, no, I'm gonna play with that active trader. But
Yeah.
definitely set up some
That's gonna be your edge, right? So now what we're doing is we're gonna pair this little hack to some active trader life, right? Where we have our right contract ready to go right here, right? Or contracts, right? Our bracket order is already set, right? So we know exactly what we're getting into. We know what we're willing to risk on it, right? This is your dream right here, right? This is how we're gonna be trading, right? We have our orders, right? If we want to scale out, right, on the position, right? Once we see the break or we see the sell cycle start, we want to add more in. Like you see an extra dump in there, you're like, oh, it's gonna go 3 times. Boom, let me add one more for the last little dump, right? You can do all that. Like I love active trader paired with actively trading.
Yeah, I definitely couldn't do that on the mobile. So that's another level.
Oh yeah, always. So let's get on this next level though. So it's just gonna start with just being disciplined in this. So yeah, just feel free to ask me any questions. Like I said, let's level this up. I want to see you compounding that account.
The compound effect
Yeah,
So
straight up. And check in with me. Let me know like how you're doing, what you're thinking about plays. Honestly, just even like I don't know. I want us to have like like a community. You know what I mean? Like where we're just like yeah, everybody just looking out for each other. So but I'll see you on the Discord for now. Have a good rest of your night though.
you too. Sounds good. See you later. Thank you so much.
All right, good night.
Bye.